Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to our TED Talk class. Today we will speak about universe and multiverse. And we have TED Talk, which title Is Our Universe the Only Universe? It's I would say it, not a very short TED Talk with a bunch of ideas inside. As far I remember, there were 3 lines in these TED Talks. And let's try to recall that. Vasants, can you start, please, if you have a chance to watch it?
Yeah, in this talk, the speaker explains about the recent Nobel Prize uh, winning scientist theory, or it might be a hypothesis or something. They said, as we are living in our own universe, there is a lot of chance of multi-universe, like the same as we live. So, and he projects some ideas that supports uh, the hypothesis, and he used some visual representations on the screen uh, to support, to help the viewers to, how to call it, to understand what he is talking about, because nobody knows what is the beyond the universe. So he used some slides and videos
Mhm.
to represent different universes, and yeah, and a lot of physics related stuff.
Okay,
Words. Yeah.
let us start with definitions, right? So let me try to begin. So planet, it's obvious, like it's yours. It's a place where we live. So a few planets and solar, as our sun, they make a solar system or system in general, right? Star system or something like this. A bunch of these systems, a set of the systems is what? Universe, galaxy, galaxy?
See?
Galaxy. So a bunch of galaxies, they form the universe, right?
Mhm.
And what we know about universe, that it's probably it's made, if you not religious man, so it's made from a big bang, right? After the big bang uh, expanding, right? It's expanding always, and there are trillions of galaxies. Or is it a countable number or uncountable?
It's uncountable. They estimate at least 30 trillion galaxies.
But it's important that it's I don't know. Is it limited or unlimited? We don't know, right?
As far as we know, it's unlimited.
Okay, so as far as we know, unlimited bunch of galaxies, they form our universe, right? So to me, it seems like everything what exists in the world is the universe.
Right.
It's how it sounds to me. So why we ask, is there another universe? it's a kind of strange question.
Well, if you consider that there's a couple ways to look at it, we can only see so far. So let's consider that we're in the ocean, but our range of sight is only 1 foot sphere. So our universe is really just a sphere that we can see. And what's beyond that sphere, we don't know. It may be a big ocean with other little spheres where they think that's their universe.
Mm-hmm.
So our universe might really be just the bubble that we can see, and the bubble's expanding like a bubble going up and getting bigger and bigger. But there may be other bubbles out there. Now, whether we call them different universes or the same universe that we're in, but just a part of it that we can't see, it's hard to say.
Mm-hmm.
The reason they say that there should be multiple universes is that to make the mathematics work, the laws in our universe are one set of laws but there are other mathematical values that could cause the laws of physics to be different. And since that's not the case in our universe, there must be another universe where those laws of physics can apply. And mathematically, they derived that there must be multiple universes to solve the mathematical equations.
Right, and somehow, so we discussed it once, right? We discussed once that in our universe we have some set of physical laws that just work, right? And we have some constants. We don't know why these constants are there, like P, like what else? I don't know English terms for that, but there are many. Yeah, there are many, like variable of Lagrange, C, speed of the light, and there are many. And they, for instance, I don't know, gravity, right? On the Earth, it's defined by mass, so it's yes, Avogadro number. There are a lot of them, and it's very strange that we have these numbers, right? It's very strange. Why are there numbers? Why are they fixed? So it's a kind of interesting question. And speaker in the TED Talk, he provided a few examples about those numbers. I forgot. One was like Copernic, probably. I forgot the exact name of this astro scientist. He asked why is the Earth on this? Why the planet must be on this distance from the sun? So at his point, at his time, he saw that there is only one sun and one planet, and he saw that it's a constant distance between sun and planet. But it was his like picture of the world, his ability to understand the world. Now we know that it's incorrect. There are a lot of planets, and it's not a constant anymore. So what if our P constant not a constant either? It's just a variable of our universe, right? And in the different universe, it's the same. It's the very same world where what we live, but in another universe, it can be another value. Right. So it's a pretty interesting idea, I think. And for me, it looks like a trick to escape these limits of physics, right? So to put all different like possibilities in one world. Why it can be changed? Because it's another universe. Okay, Gerard, have you heard before about string theory and all these things?
Yeah, I think it's a long theory. So they justify string theories with black matter, I think. Black matter?
Black matter, yeah.
But those theories are constantly changing. They find out something, and then all those theories fall down, you know?
Yeah.
I see it very difficult to find an explanation because there are many things that don't add up, you know? Like the forces, like the gravitational force, electromagnetic, nuclear weak, and nuclear strong. So the physicians, astrophysics and physicians, their wet dream is to make a theory that unifies all the forces. But I don't think that will happen.
Yeah.
Never happen.
Why they have this dream? Because I don't know why. It looks like another constant of our world, but more or less all these laws are similar. How to explain it? When we study something more and more, we find more and more common laws. You know, it always happen. I don't know why. For the beginning, we see like 3 different laws, and we don't see relation between them. But we go deeper, and we see that it's like one law. It's all the same, but different application of this law. And it always happens in science. That's why all these mathematicians and physicians always dream that we find, you know, universal law of our universe. It will be just one equation. You put what you want.
They dream with an equation that explains everything. I think that's not possible.
There is a very rusty anecdote about that, you know, once upon a time on the Earth, they built a super pooper computer and it knows everything. You just need to answer the question. And they ask it, give us please this equation that explain everything. Computer thought for a long time and then give them the answer. Its answer is 42. It doesn't make many sense, but it's a common story. It means that we cannot understand this answer. We cannot understand this answer because the relation doesn't make sense or something. Yeah. What I was going to ask about this string theory. So, what string theory? It's like a way to a different direction, like not from the smaller objects to bigger objects, but to the inside the atoms, right? So we have some how we call it, matters, right? It consists from molecules, right? Molecules, and molecules can consist, made of atoms. Atoms made of electrons, protons, and neutrons.
Right.
And
smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yeah, and at this point, it's kind of our limit. We can manage electrons and we can manage like nuclear reaction, but that's all. But we predict and we know it's theoretically that there are many, not many, there are next level of these components. And we call it tachyon or something. Sorry, I'm not a physician. I forgot this term. And they say that those participles or tachyons or something, they don't behave like like those balls, like electrons. They behave like waves, right?
Yeah.
And quantum particles, yes, but it's the part that I already don't understand. Hello, Sergey. Do you hear us? And your sound is kind of quiet or something, not loud enough. Try to switch your mic, maybe. And we are speaking there about, quantum physics and protons and neutrons and all these things. So we are going to ask you, what is the participle that less than electron?
You ask me?
Yeah. You are the only physicians here,
To be honest, I don't understand your questions because physics is not my favorite topic.
Okay. Okay, but today's topic is kind of about physics,
But Teacher Lee works with that.
There was a scientist named Niels Bohr, and he came up with the idea that an atom had a nucleus with protons and neutrons and electrons going around the outside. So that was our first, I guess, model of an atom. And then later they found out that protons, neutrons, and electrons are themselves made of smaller particles. So they came up with things called quarks and all kinds of things that, mesons and bosons, and I don't even know what they are. So the idea of string theory is that you go down, 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 the final particle that makes up everything are little vibrating strings. And because they can vibrate at different frequencies, they can make up everything: electrons, neutrons, protons, quarks, whatever. So that's the idea of string theory. They're looking for one theory that everything can be broken down to that point.
Right.
And it can be used to explain everything we see everywhere.
Right.
I don't know.
So, but in this TED Talk, it was a pretty new notion for me about all these dimensions. So they said, actually, speaker said, it's not about how they vibrate, right? It's about in what direction that vibrate. They vibrate those, I don't know how we call it, those strings. So, and he said that these directions, it's kind of determine the universe, what we live in. It's how I get it. So, but it's pretty, I don't know, pretty fresh idea to me. I used to live with this, 3 dimensions. Vasans, do you understand this idea of 3 dimensions and more dimensions and all this, things?
Yeah, I understand. Actually, what I have been said is we are all trapped in this three-dimensional space. We can only see the things around us in that particular limitations. Like we are limited to height and length and width, I think. So whatever we see in front of us, the objects, we see that in 3 dimensions. But physicists believe that there are more dimensions like that are based on time, especially if the time stretches, then everything changes. But we cannot witness the change because we are all trapped inside this 3 dimension. So the 4th dimension is also complicated, and people believe there are more dimensions than 4
Right.
dimensions. There
Right.
are 5, 6.
Yeah, you explained it well. When I study math in my university, for mathematicians there is no limit of dimensions. You can, you are not physician. You can imagine as many dimensions as you can, and it's some kind of useful. It's useful in some kind of exercises for some applications in math. So sometimes we used to draw this, hypercubes. It's a cube in 4 dimensions and so on. And physicians are trying to say that we can see and feel and live only in 3 dimensions because we are 3 dimensions creatures, something like this. But there are like unlimited amount of them. So just to imagine this idea, you can do this experiment. You can take a piece of paper and draw a human on it. So it's a human of 2 dimensions, and it can see only in these 2 dimensions, left, right, and that's all. So and he or she cannot see in different directions. So it's what happened with us. We live in this world. There are a lot of other dimensions, and it's funny. I don't know why, but I heard, maybe I'm wrong, but I heard that string theory says that there is a 12 directions. Why 12? I don't know. Why not 20? Why not 10? It's kind of strange, yeah. Okay, so it's about string theory, and physicians like this string theory because, as Jar said before, it's kind of unify 2 ideas about dimensions and about these nuclear things. So these dimensions of vibration determine our universe. It's the second idea from TED Talk. Okay, there was another one, but I already forgot which one. He said it will be 3 parts. So one part was about multi-universe, another part string theory, and 3rd part something unifying it. Sergey, do you remember?
I think that's inflation universe.
Yeah, inflation. What is that?
I don't understand, but I think that's when the dark energy put other universe from us, and in a lot of years, scientists will don't see the other universe and the stars.
Right.
Maybe.
Right. So if I'm right, he said something like that. From all the laws of physics, we expect that universe should not be inflated. It should be different direction, right? Because of gravitation. So it must be universe must what's the word for that?
Collapse.
Collapse. Yeah, just make this distance smaller and smaller because of gravitation. But it doesn't happen. Why it doesn't happen? Because there is some word he used, some term like repel or reverse gravity. Repel gravitation. And this repel gravitation is defined by this black matter or something. I don't know. It's
Right.
It's like 2 magnets. How we call this poluses on the magnet?
North and south poles.
Poles. Okay, north and south poles on magnets. So if you trying to connect the same, I forgot, poles, they are they have repulsive forces, right?
Right.
Whew, it's pretty hard for me to speak about this topic.
Well, what they originally they thought that gravity was the only force between galaxies. So the explosion blew everything apart, and what they expected to see was gravity would be pulling on everything, so everything would get slower and slower and slower and stop and then come back together. That's what we thought would happen. But recently, they've measured the galaxies' velocities, and instead of slowing down, they're going away faster and faster and faster. And we can't explain that with gravity alone. So now we're saying between galaxies, it's not empty vacuum. There's black energy that's pushing everything apart faster. But we can't see it and we can't detect it.
Well, they actually detected it, right? By some measure. They measured distance by how they measured this distance by light speed, something like this, right?
They can see the effect of it. Yeah.
So they can see that we see some objects. I don't know. I forgot how to say it. But anyway, so what is inflation? Inflation is kind of expansion of the universe, and what it brings us to. It's how to say it? It's a process that has not only velocity but some acceleration, right? So it's constantly accelerating process, and at one point, this universe will go on the speed more than speed of the light, and it's prevent us to see it, at any time. So actually, it will be like not existent thing for us. We cannot see it. We cannot reach it. It just doesn't exist, I think.
Right. So eventually, our skies will be black.
Right.
Because everything will be so far away, we can't even see its light.
But we still will have our galaxies, right? We will not have other universes, but we don't see them now, I think.
Yeah, our galaxy, we'll see our stars, you're right. But beyond our galaxy, it'll be black. Yeah. Right, yeah.
Well, maybe it's a problem, but I don't feel so.
We won't be here.
Mankind won't be here.
Hello, Leila.
Hello.
We're happy to see you here finally. And we're speaking about this universe things, about this physics. Have you chance to watch this TED Talk?
I will listen to you at first, then I will try to understand and ask some questions.
Okay. Actually, we just finished to retell to retell this TED Talks. So it contained from 3 parts. And in nuts, what is that? One part is that there is other universes, not only ours, and they might have different physics laws and different properties of materia or something like this.
Okay.
It seems it's very likely, I would say.
Very romantic subject, so I'm listening to you eagerly, believe me.
Okay. So second point was about what? I forgot again.
String theory or?
Yes, second point. Thank you, teacher. The second point about string theory. It's means that there are smaller objects than nuclear objects. Like electrons, there are smaller objects and they behave like strings. And it explains everything, how materia is built.
Wow. String theory. This is the first time I have heard about it.
Really? It's a pretty old theory, and people like it very much. Why they like it? I can explain. Because to understand nuclear physics, you have to be physicians. Because you have to understand many things, and they are very complicated. They are very weird things. But string theory, it's kind of just an idea. not too many details in it yet. So you can, you just saying there is some small, in our world, there are some small participles that behave like a string. And you are already expert in string theory. So it's pretty easy.
Okay.
Okay, and the third point, it's about inflation. So inflation or expansion, it's about that our universe is divergent. Can I say so? Actually, our universe, they are like, I don't know how to say it.
Moving apart.
Yeah, moving apart. Or
Yeah.
I'm trying to find another synonym. Diverge. It's not about that.
Divergent.
Yeah, like something like diverge.
Divergent. Yeah.
Okay, so and eventually we will lose our picture, our night picture, and we will only see stars from our galaxy, not from others universe. Okay, but it's a distant future. Don't worry about this now. And I don't know how much it can take. Jart, what do you think? What is?
But I think saying that our sky would be black is not true, because we have the stars of our galaxy. Most of we can see is the stars from our galaxy.
Right. I agree. And I think at that point we probably will lose our sun already. Because those stars are not for forever, They life is pretty short compared to galaxies.
5 billion years. Yeah. Sun's gonna die in 5 billion years.
You see, it's pretty soon. Yeah. Okay, that's all about this content of TED Talk, and we have some questions on our Padlet, and I can remind you that we have Padlet for every class. You can bring whatever you like to our discussion, and the best question man so far is Vasans. He's always prepared. Thank you very much. So the first question, what is the benefit of searching for new universes while we are struggling inside our own universe?
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't think that we are struggling inside our own universe to be true. I think we are struggling inside our planet or inside our country. It's far away from struggling with our universe, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Leila, please.
Leila has an answer.
No, the thing is that as an amateur person, when the subject is concerned, I can say in our galaxy, the resources are running out, and maybe the benefit of searching for new universes could be to find new resources for human beings.
Okay, and about what kind of resources you're talking?
As far as I know, Mars, they're doing a lot of research there, and we need oxygen, we need plants, trees, water, yes, to swim, right? And a lot of things. And I do believe that there are some extraterrestrials in other planets. I don't know.
But Leila, we actually wrote it right, that we have not even used the moon's resource yet. And we never used, resources outside our planet, as far as I know.
So we haven't even used, or we haven't even found anything when the moon is concerned. I don't know about this.
Well, I think there are a lot of sand on the Mars, so we can use it sometimes, eventually. Gerard, please.
So here, the obvious use of multiverse is justifying the string theories. Here we can see in this talk. So that's a joker, when you are playing cards.
Right. So so at least one application of string theory that it keep busy all these physicians, right? And making salary for them and all these professor grants and all these things. But it's a slippery slope. If we the same way people thought about telephones like decades ago, but voila, and we have this telephone. So maybe we will use this string theory pretty soon, maybe next year. I don't know.
It may be that studying multiple universes, we may find a way to travel across the universe quickly by using a wormhole. So it could possibly help us in space travel
Right.
if we can figure out, the technology, but that's a long way.
Right, and it's predicted by many Hollywood movies, so it must happen, I think.
That's right.
Okay, so what can be another benefit? Sergey, can you imagine one?
I don't imagine what's the benefit from knowledge about the multiverse. My opinion that it's interesting idea about the future scientists when they will create new telescopes for seeing to black space.
Right.
I don't know. It's not my favorite topic. It's not my usually topic of discussion.
Right. That's why we're here, to find to make you be prepared to that. So just imagine that you are in the train for a long time with all those astrophysics. You have to talk with them, but how? So we just train you.
There's a theory that the parallel universes is another dimension. So let's say I'm sitting here, and let's say there's 10 actions I can take. I can continue talking. I can turn off my computer. I can have a heart attack and die. So all of those can happen simultaneously, and each action branches into a parallel universe. So all those possibilities of what I can do can all happen, or all happen simultaneously, but in different universes. So in this universe, I continue talking to you. In a different universe, going along that timeline, I suddenly drop dead, and you're going, "What happened to Teacher Lee?" So by studying the multiverses, if our timeline's about to be extinct and we're going to all be destroyed, we maybe can find a way to slip into another parallel universe and keep going, keep existing. So,
well,
survival.
Yes, I understand what you're talking about. And for many issues, it seems the only way. How to make peace on the Middle East. We need another universe for that.
Right?
Right. Okay.
Right. Because then there'll be two of us there, but that's okay.
Another universe where Winston Churchill didn't have the brilliant idea of creating the state of Israel.
Yeah.
Right.
I've got a time slot in this other universe I'd like to sell you. It's a better universe than this one.
Well, I'd like to travel not to another country, but another universe that have another, physics law. Maybe another gravity. Gravity is obvious. We can find it there, but I don't know, another P constant, just to see how it's happened.
Yeah.
Okay, Vasan, so do you know some benefits? Can you find one?
No, I don't find any benefits, because Leela's resource point is a valid point. While we do not have resource to travel around our own world, so it is pretty stupid idea to travel to another planet, wasting your resources to find another universe or something. It's pretty waste of time, I think, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But I can find a benefit. I think it's kind of to keep those scientists concentrated. To make them solve like complex questions, and they may lead to solve many smaller questions like automatically. Let them try to reach another universe, right? And during this process, let them find a way to travel to Mars easily. Just for a change, I think.
Let's assume that we have parallel universes, and there's an Earth in this spot in each universe. So really, our space of the Earth is actually 5 Earths in the same space, but in different universes, okay? So if we could tap into another universe another Earth would be right there next to us, and we could either transport people there or maybe dump our carbon dioxide there and steal some of its oxygen. We could get resources from another parallel Earth right next to us without having to travel anywhere.
Right. It's more convenient,
Weird, huh?
right? Yes.
Yeah,
I have to spend like 12 hours to fly to Spain. Why so long? I need to, immediately be travel to another universe. Just
right.
okay. Another question: does the multi-universe ideology supports or denies God's existence? Interesting one.
I don't see any difference. If he can create one universe, he can create many universes.
Yes, with the same effort, right?
But maybe there's different gods. Each god gets one universe.
Well, it's interesting. Yeah, should every universe has own god or not?
It's like an architect or a caretaker.
Gerard, please.
Another thing the speaker doesn't talk about is the level of entropy. So entropy is the order. The level of it looks that the universe, this expansion is more order than it should be.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there is something more like a force or like cosmological order rather than a God, Father or this God that Christians and Muslims and Jews share. I think must be some order that because I don't know, because there are I don't believe in our planet, for instance, or our life is a product of likelihood,
Well, which they have a saying. I don't know how that sounds in English. Something like the way the God behave is unthinkable or ununderstandable. Teach me how it sounds.
How does what sound?
It's sayings from Bible maybe that the way how God behave, they are not understandable or unthinkable.
Yeah.
Something like this.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you think about the way I look at it, humans seem to think God's just like a big human.
Right.
He gets angry. He has love. He wants us to wear certain clothes. He cares if we sin or not. My viewpoint is, if I was a god, the ants would be humans. They have no idea what I am motivated by or why I do things. They cannot. And yet we feel like we understand God. He talks to us. We know what he wants. We know how he feels, what makes him happy. It's nonsense to me, We're like ants,
Humans tend to be anthropocentric, we are the center of the universe. We make God our image. It's not God that makes us. Actually, as we make God similar to us, the God are all the same. Why God must be like us? And we are the center of the universe. You are alone. We like to think, and every nationality, every country, they think they are the best. It's something inherent in mankind.
Right. And in my industry, in IT, people tend to think about computers like about humans. Like, this mistake is understandable. It's because that and that. No, it's not because that. It's not behave like a human. It's not getting tired or getting angry or something like this. Yeah. But Tishley, do you know how it's this saying from Bible, sounds in original? So how it says the ways of God, or how?
God, we say, well, I don't think it's in the Bible, but we say God works in mysterious ways.
Nice. Sounds nice.
Which means we can't understand his motivations.
Yes. Okay, another question. Let me copy one.
Layla's got a question.
Layla, please.
No, I was going to just make a comment. As a non-religious person, I believe in God, but not as a human being, but it's a kind of energy. So,
It makes more sense. I mean, if he was physical, he couldn't be in different places, right?
you know, while you are saying that, talk to God, and yeah, I sometimes send him some kisses. You know
Does he
why? This is a kind of being positive. And I say thank you. Or just maybe I'm playing a game with myself.
I see. Usually, it's rare even when I thank God. I usually blame God, you know, especially when I play poker or something. Sounds, please.
Yes. While I was writing this question, I was thinking about having one God and who created all these universes, but I didn't see that coming, having multi-gods. But what all the religions say is praising God. It's a common thing, praising God to amuse him. So now, if we assume this multi-universe, then the thing that makes me relieve is he would not care if we don't praise him. He will have a lot of other universes to take care of that. Probably what is happening right now in our world is chaotic. People are dying of poverty and fighting with each other. A lot of chaotic things is happening, and this supports that he might have been busy with some other universes like that.
Right. Valid points. And as teacher Lee said, it's like I like this analogy with ants. You know, maybe at my summer house, this ant nest already pray me, right? But I don't care. Okay. So, do you believe in black holes and wormholes theories? But let's find definition first. Sergey, do you know what is a black holes and wormholes?
Yes, I heard about black holes, but I don't know what is wormhole theories.
It's a mistake here. It's not worm, it's worm, like, you know, worms. It's like animal. It's not animals. What are worms? I don't know. Animals.
Yeah, animal. Like in Dune, you need to see these big worms.
Yeah. Right. Right. So, Sergey, tell us about black holes. As they exist. What are they for?
I think that the black holes exist, and maybe, and this is, and I can't explain it correctly because I heard about the black holes only from TV and from movie, and I don't know about black holes. Nothing.
I understand. Yeah.
I think that the black holes is the big energy place such can take other big pieces into the black holes.
Mhm.
And it's all. It's my knowledge is finished.
It's something that consumes all the energy and materia, right?
Yep.
Okay, I have the same problem. You know, when I was a student, when I was in school and in the university, black holes doesn't exist. So I have nothing. I have no training about that. But after I watched some TV shows about black holes, and I don't feel that I can trust those. So, anyone else? What do we know about black holes or wormholes? What is the difference? Leila, please.
I don't know the difference, but my physics teacher at school taught us that a black hole is a region of space having a kind of gravity, something like that, as far as I remember.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically a tub drain. Everything goes down into it and never comes back.
No, nobody can escape, Lee, right?
Huh?
Nobody or nothing can escape.
Correct. Even light goes into it. The light can't come out. So that's why it's completely black.
Nice.
Light can't even escape from it.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
The difference is we know that black holes exist, but we don't know for sure that wormholes exist. It would be like a sort of tunnel that could allow us to travel in space. You know, like we have 2 points here, and we fold this piece of paper, the sheet of paper, and then we can travel. Like, you know, fold the space.
Okay. Like make a hole, right? Make a hole that connects to distant points.
If it would be possible to do that, we could travel in space, you know.
Well, but that exists. We know that. I saw that in many movies. You know.
Yes.
In Star Trek, probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So it exists. It's for sure. I know that Star Trek is kind of documentary movie, so it's no doubts.
We used to talk about folding space. They mentioned this in Dune. If the universe was like a flat sheet, to go from here to here would take forever. We could never do it. But if we could take space and somehow fold it like a piece of paper, now I can go from here to here very fast. So that's the idea of a wormhole. A wormhole lets us fold space and open up tunnel from here to here so we can go that huge distance quickly.
Right.
But it's all theoretical.
But it can be convenient, I think. And I would like to buy, a small black hole for trash, not to not to be worried about all these things. Just put it here and forget.
Do you remember all movies, all sci-fi movies? They talk about the hyperspace, several times the speed velocity, but even several times the speed velocity it's not useful because the distances are so big that and besides, I think that when you are traveling to this speed, light speed, you don't age, but everybody is aging. So what's the point?
Right.
Yeah.
And speaking about the space, it's always a problem, all this distance. Even if you just imagine that you can go with the speed of the light, it doesn't solve too much, right? Because distance, like years, how we call it? Sun years, teacherly? How we call this?
Light years.
Light years, yeah.
Light years, yeah.
Light years. So if it's like 10 light years, so you cannot spend less than 10 years, right?
At the speed of light, yeah.
At the speed of light, yes. Which is theoretically impossible, as far as we know. Okay, our favorite question. Vasant, maybe would you like to answer this one?
In my opinion, as far as I understand from movies, black hole is, yes, what teacher Lee said. We can travel through the longer distance by using the black hole, but wormhole is placed due to anomalies. It's like comets. It happens due to some time slaps, something. So yeah, it is not any. We do not have any evidences, but it might happen like comets.
Speaking about the terms, Gerard, what is parsec?
Yes, it's a measure of distance, So 3.26 light years. I don't know why this measure is like this, I don't understand, but I read this measure in many sci-fi books.
I think it's just because it has a lot of zeros, it's like a round number. If you put it in kilometers, it will be pretty, how we call it, usually round, a number with many zeros. How we call
straight?
Precise, I guess.
Right.
Precise, okay.
Or astronomically large.
Okay, but in Russian we call them round. For instance, 10 is round number, or
round numbers, yeah.
100, yeah. Okay, something like this. Okay, what else we know about those parsecs?
There is an internet article. We have found a cold spot in the universe that we can observe. So there's one spot in our whole universe that's the coldest spot in the whole universe. It's almost at absolute zero. And we theorize that at that point, two multiverses have bumped together. And that's what's causing that cold spot, is two universes have bumped together and caused that cold spot in that location. We don't know, but that's another piece of evidence that shows we might have multiple universes.
Right, and it's definitely an evidence that we don't understand many things, right? Because because when you say that bump of the universe, it sounds strange. Because what is universe? Mostly it's just a space, right?
Yeah.
How it can be bumps? It's hard to imagine.
Well, if they're like bubbles, the two bubbles could touch, you know.
But bubbles have this crust. How you call this surface of bubbles?
Just a surface tension surface.
Okay. But at least it's something material, right? But for universe, it's nothing, just a space.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think human would find humans in other universes? Will we ever be able to achieve that? Okay, what do you think? What are our chances for that?
I think that we don't have a chances. That's my opinion. I hope.
Yeah, I cannot find a good human, in my neighborhood. Not about. Layla, please.
I just want to believe that we could find humans in other universe, because I'm not happy with the ones here. So I just want to believe that one day we could meet some aliens, extraterrestrials, or people like us or not like us, but I just need a change, believe me.
Okay.
And I was watching the series Lost in Space. Maybe Lee knows it because it's an American series, science fiction.
I know the old one. I haven't seen the new one. Yeah.
Thank you, Lee. No, this is the old one, really.
Okay. That was kind of a comedy, yeah.
Yeah, they met the extraterrestrials and they were really happy. So that's it.
Okay, so far we think 0, 0, and for sure, right? Okay.
So here's my theory of multiple universes. Are you ready?
Yes.
I'm a scuba diver, and I'm 50 feet underwater, and I'm breathing air, and I'm blowing out bubbles. And these bubbles, as they go up, they get bigger and bigger and bigger until they hit the surface, and then they pop, right?
Right.
So the scuba diver is God, and his bubbles are these multiple universes. And as they go up, they're expanding bigger and bigger and bigger. Sometimes two of them may hit each other. And that's a collision of two universes. And when the bubble pops at the top of the water, it's gone. The universe is gone.
Yeah, so the time is over, right?
So that's a paradigm you can use to have a mental model, maybe, of multiple universes moving upward and getting bigger and bigger, and sometimes they hit each other, and eventually they're gonna pop and be gone. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's kind of the idea.
Okay, but we have this question on our Padlet. Let me read it. What is your assumption? If two universes collide, what would happen? Like gravitation change, time change, or what? And teacher Lee just provided us example about this cold place, when from his experience, when two universes collide, it makes a cold spot or what place.
If you think about pressure, if we have high pressure goes to low pressure. Mm-hmm. If two universes are at different pressures, it's possible that when they collide, matter from one universe may go into the other universe until their pressures equalize. So there could be like a mass transfer, a chaotic mass transfer, maybe a loss of temperature. So if we have a cold spot, that would imply that our mass went into the other universe, perhaps, unless it was colder than our universe. Maybe it's got a colder temperature for absolute zero. So when we bumped into it, it's colder than us, so we got a cold spot. If it was hotter than us, we might have a hot spot there. You know, so I don't know.
Right. But hopefully we know from this TED Talk that universe are not going to collide, that they are expanding, they are going apart. You know.
In our universe, yeah.
So we are in safe. Please don't worry. Stop panicking. It's
Who says we're in panic? I just want it to happen. Or else we will explode here.
Okay. Last one. I think we can afford it. What would happen if you find parallel universe, like in the movie Donnie Darko? Are you excited to see yourself in person? You mean yourself from the other universe, parallel universe?
Multiverse.
Multiverse, yeah. So would you like to have this experience or not? Leila, would you like to meet another Leila, you know?
Even Leila.
You can go and see. So the thing, you know, I haven't watched the TED Talk. I don't know a lot of things about this subject, but what makes me scared is to travel because there is a lot of time difference. Am I rightly?
Yeah.
You know, 1 year.
Yeah.
No, maybe when I arrive at the place, I will be dead.
Yeah. And that was a movie we saw called Passengers.
Right.
Yeah.
Where they went to sleep and it was like a 90-year trip.
Yeah.
So they just slept for 90 years so they could survive the trip. Yeah.
Right, but let's forget about this time and distance. You know, you can just click the button and put yourself in another universe, parallel universe, and see yourself and watch yourself. You know, like living person. Would you like to see that?
Would you? First, please, you answer.
Yeah, I'd like. I think that my life formed by many lucky or unlucky collisions, you know, some spontaneous events, and I would like to see, you know, another way, another possible way. Maybe I would a better person or a worse person, and I can compare, I can understand what is critical, what was critical in my life, such events, and what was unimportant. So it's a pretty...
Don't change it.
No, I cannot change. I can, but I can understand, right? I can see another. Yeah.
I can understand.
So
another interesting theory. Oh, go ahead, Vasant.
Vasant, please.
You're muted.
Okay. Another interesting theory is that, and Elon Musk believes this. We may be a computer simulation, just like in Matrix. We may not be here. We may be a computer program running in a giant computer. And that's why everything is predictable and follows an equation, because it's a computer program and we don't really exist. Now, if that were true, Ivan, then if we could find a way to change our location coordinates, we could appear instantly anywhere in this simulation.
Right. We just need to hack this universe. It's all. You just call your favorite Russian hacker, it hack it, and you are in another place.
That's right.
Yeah, nice. So, but I like this quote from the movie. It's about Matrix, but it's from my favorite series, The Big Bang Theory. And one man said to another, "You know how I understood that we are not in Matrix?" He says, "How? Because if we were in Matrix, the food will be more tasty."
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anything else? Last comments. We almost finished here.
I have one link interesting
I
link.
have.
Vasants, please.
Okay. At this point, I would like to see myself in the different universe, because as a normal human who is living under the limitation of 24 hours a day, these 365 days in a year and 60 years of lifespan, I cannot try all these things I want to. So I can manipulate the different versions of person in different universes. Like one version of person can be a doctor, and one version of person can be a traveler. So it can be interesting. So I would like to see that.
Okay. Okay. Anything else? Gerard, please.
I gave you this movie it's 20 years old. It's very weird because it's black and white. It's about a formula that explains our existence, like the formula of God. You know, we talk about a formula that would explain everything. So here is something like that.
Okay. Okay. Let's put it to the bookmark. Maybe we can discuss it.
It's quite. You know, it's a lot to discuss on this movie.
Okay. And Teacher Lee, you have some comment or no?
No, I guess that's all. Yeah.
Okay, so let's ask Sergey. Sergey, have you learned something new from this TED Talk, from this conversation?
Yes, it is interesting. It is interesting topic because it motivated me to think about other topics from my usual life, and it's topic to share my understanding about universe and about Big Bang theory, because I don't understand this theory, because this man from TED Talk explained very difficult for me when the Big Bang theory. After that, the waves and the tides. I don't know this English correctly. Continued vibration, and now and after us.
Yeah. We forgot to speak to discuss about the language of TED Talk, and I found it kind of challenging too. I had to pause it. I had to watch the subtitles, and I had to rewind it to the beginning. So it was kind of challenging to me. Yeah. Leila, please.
Thank you. Because I really, I really enjoyed it a lot. I know that you think I was not going to enjoy it. It attracts my attention a lot. I'm going to read about the subject more. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you all very much. Nice talk, also as always. And next week we are having a movie class about Ender's Game or something like this.
Yeah.
Please be prepared. We need your questions.